Hello, all Pal League racers. This is Jacob Alesia with this week's Pacemaker video here at Pocono. Alright, we'll start off talking about turn 1. There's two ways really you can take turn 1. You can arc in kind of late, or you can dive it in really hard and step on the brakes and make it stick. I really like to arc in kind of late into the turn. I think it helps save the tires a little bit better. And then you can get back on the throttle earlier than you think and come up higher than you think on the exit. The groove stays really low, the visual groove, but you can go up a whole nother lane before you really start to get into any trouble. Turn 2, you're going to turn in just after the final cone in the fence on the right. You can really send it in there and make it stick. Don't be afraid to turn in a little bit earlier than you might expect. That flat rumble area to the left of the turn is actually pretty grippy, and it doesn't upset the car too much. It is a little slower, of course, but it's a lot better than going really wide and then slapping the wall on the outside. Turn 3, you send it in kind of deep, you go a few car lengths after the final cone, and then you'll just drag the brakes slightly to help the rear end turn around. Arcing it in late or sending it in really narrow isn't really going to help you a whole lot. That turn's really just taking the optimal line and dealing with the tire scrub. The wall kind of comes away from the turn right there at the exit of 2. Even if you cut it in late, you're still going to slap the part that sticks out, so make sure you don't slide too hard coming out. Some folks like to come down low onto the rumble strip. Just make sure you're off the rumble strip before it ends, or you'll be in the grass with very grass-covered tires, and you might spin. There is a bump in the second lane off of turn 1. Be careful not to hit that bump. It will upset the car and send you another lane high. Try to stay in that bottom lane, or if you're side by side with traffic, go about a half lane high, and you won't have to hit the bump. The car's set up with a very low hanging suspension and very stiff suspension, so when you do hit that bump, it just scoots the car away and upsets it quite a bit. For pit entry, you're going through 3 just like you normally would. You do have to slow up quite quickly. We're exiting 3, we're going to accelerate a little bit. Right at the end of the grass, we're going to start slowing down and getting the car down. The pit road speed limit starts right away, and then there's a huge section to the right that's actually just sort of like out of bounds that turns into the scoring pylon over here. So you want to enter about the middle of pit road, left and right, and slow up in time. It caught out a few people in our practice races, so be extra careful when coming into the pits. So for my setup, I just leave the steering ratio at the 12:1. That's the default. You're welcome to play with that as you see fit, depending on your race style. I did need to change the steering offset to +8 degrees. I felt that the car was drifting right quite a bit under straight line steering, which is usually the opposite of what you have to deal with the cars that are set up for oval racing. So that really caught me out. Alright guys, that was this week's Pacemaker. Hopefully these tips will get you nice and fast at Pocono and you'll have a good race.